Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Corner, presented by the Pierce County Community Engagement Task Force, empowered by Workforce Central. We are your host. I am Tamar Jackson, the Director of Community Engagement for Workforce Central, better known as the Mayor of Loop City.
And I'm Jeff Wolf, the Community Engagement Manager at Workforce Central, and AKA the City Manager.
Man, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. So let's talk about The Corner, and let's talk about why The Corner is so important to Jeff and myself personally. The Corner was built to really just be a collaborative series that really highlighted our partners and the service community and the great things that they do. You know, Workforce Central is the #6 Workforce Development Council in Washington State. And we represent Pierce County and those individuals because they're important. You know, we come in with the aim of really making sure that we have a secure and equitable and sustainable pipeline to workforce development. But we can't do that without our partners, personally and professionally. You guys are great. And we really wanted to make a stage to highlight you guys, because without you, there is no us. And so that's what The Corner's for. The Corner is to highlight and reintroduce you guys back to this community that we serve on a daily basis. So thank you guys for the work that you guys do.
Perfect. And I'm going to introduce our first guest, Jennifer Robbins with Help Kitchen. Thank you for being here. And so for those that don't know, Help Kitchen is a new nonprofit organization in the area that provides meals for individuals with the lowest amount of barriers possible. And the way they do it is pretty cool. And they're doing this by partnering with multiple local restaurants and kind of supporting them at the same time. And so we wanted to get her on and highlight this and kind of make everybody aware of what they're doing and go from there. So Jen, thanks for being here. Why don't you give us a little overview and tell us about yourself?
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you, Jeff and Tamar. So my name's Jen Robbins, and I manage Help Kitchen here in Tacoma. We are, as Jeff said, a nonprofit that pays restaurants to feed folks in the community who need a meal. And it's really that simple. So I'm excited to be here and excited to be a part of this program. It's so cool, and it's been a wonderful experience. We've been operating in Tacoma since September. I myself have been a Tacoma community member and business owner for many years, and at least a decade, and well, even more now, probably closer to 2 if I'm really thinking about it. And I've had a business downtown. I know the business community, and I'm a resident. So this program really speaks to both of those aspects of my own experience, and gives us a chance to lift up both business folks, restaurant owners, and our neighbors who might need a hand.
Right on. Well, Jennifer, we know that you've only been here for a little bit with this program. What made the task force a nice spot to begin getting the word out there?
Oh, well, I'm just so happy to be connected. The task force is such a great community of people who are doing similar work to what we're doing and doing different things. But the way that you bring people together, your mission, strengthening community and educating our community members and businesses, and working to improve those connections makes it just a natural fit. I'm just so happy to be connected with you guys and to be meeting everybody.
Perfect. Well, we're glad to have you, for sure. So real quick, can you just tell us why you personally chose Help Kitchen?
I love the program. I love that I love the dignity-based aspect of it. I love that, it's not perfect. It's not without its glitches and flaws, but it works so well to retain and help preserve people's dignity when they have to ask for help. It's hard to ask. And this program makes it so that you can just text a number and get meals for your family if you're struggling, or maybe you're in between homes or experiencing houselessness and you don't have a kitchen. You can go and get hot prepared meals and have those for your whole family. And it alleviates simply and easily some obstacles to that very basic part of human need, which is, a nourishing meal, have something, warm meal in your belly. So of course I love it. I mean, what's not to love? But yeah, and then also the aspect of helping businesses. I know this program has been so instrumental in helping our restaurant partners to keep employees employed, to keep their doors open during the times where they've had to be closed and we've been on lockdown. And it's just provided another avenue to help sustain folks who may or may not have made it through the pandemic without some support like this. And we all know and can drive by and see the shuttered businesses. And so having that twofold aspect to the program is the most appealing part, that we're working together to lift up everyone in our community. It's not only people who are out of work or suffering or having trouble making ends meet. And it's not only business, it's business helping community and vice versa. So
I love that. Thank you. I know that we've had conversations before, just that's why we wanted to highlight this so much, is because we really like kind of the innovative approach. It's different, and just taking the whole human aspect, and it aligns really well with the task force. So why don't we jump in to your presentation, and I'll share the slides here, and then we can kind of give everybody a little bit deeper dive into what Help Kitchen is.
perfect.
And we will let you take it away. And just let me know when you want me to switch slides.
Okay, great. So just a brief overview of who we are and how we came to be. Help Kitchen was originated in San Francisco at the very beginning of the pandemic, and it worked so well. It was created by IT professionals and folks in the restaurant business because they saw a need. They found some philanthropy partnerships that made it feasible, and launched and started feeding people. Detroit was the next city launched, and then Tacoma is the third, and we launched here in September. So the organization is a nonprofit, and it's really simple. We just match restaurants with customers and get those customers a free meal, and we pay the restaurants to do that. So we're working to, as it says, we want to get funds into the community, get local business owners and small business folks supported, and then also feed our community members. And the goal being that we're matching those community members with restaurants in their neighborhoods, so that those relationships are being fostered and created through that, so that restaurants are helping their actual neighbors. And it really is creating those relationships where we know that our restaurant partners have great communication with their customers and the folks who are using the service. And it's also helped to, I think, shift some perceptions about who is in need and who is using the service. Understandably, some businesses and restaurants had concerns in the beginning, like who is coming in? How is this going to be? And how would it affect our business and our restaurant? And what they're finding is that, these are our friends and neighbors, and everyone, anyone and everyone can experience need at some point, and we can be there to support that. And I know our restaurant folks are very excited to participate. People want to help, they don't always know how, and we give them a vehicle where they can easily do that and have their costs covered too. So, you know, we know that Help Kitchen isn't the only solution, but we are excited and happy to be a piece of that food insecurity puzzle. Our hope is to fill in the gaps and to fill those spaces where, you know, where people might fall through the cracks. We can switch slides to. So this is how it works. Customers get the number through food banks, community outreach partnerships, social workers, any number of sources, and they text "find a meal" to the Help Kitchen number. They are asked a couple of questions, very simple questions, their zip code so we can match them with someone in their neighborhood, and how many people in their family so we can you know, assign them the right number of meals. They get a choice of 3 locations and timeframes. They pick the one that's best for them. That's usually 1 or 2 days in the future. We don't generally have same day service on this right now, and although that might change. And then they go to the restaurant, they receive a confirmation text, and then they go to the restaurant at their assigned time and pick up their takeout meals just like any other customer. So it doesn't look different when they go in and pick things up and carry out their meals. It's the same process as any customer. On the restaurant side of things, restaurants can, they have a digital dashboard, and so they can use any method to view that, a cell phone, a tablet, or a computer, and they see their dashboard, they know and can plan for, because it's not same day, because it's 1 or 2 days in the future. A restaurant can look at that, they can plan for, okay, I need to plan for this many meals or around this many meals, and shop and buy and staff accordingly. So, and then the restaurants get paid every week, so they can have that flow and an extra income stream. You know, where if things have been, as you know, so up and down. Restaurants are open, they can seat 25%. Now we're on lockdown, can't seat anybody inside. It's been so back and forth. And this is just a consistent revenue stream that restaurants can count on as a foundation. So,
Ready for the next one?
Yep. Thanks. I touched on this in the earlier when I started talking about the program, but the program was created by restaurant and IT professionals, and you know, just folks who felt like we have to act. This is a real issue, and we need to do something to help make it better, something to contribute to our community. And it's that two-pronged approach that I love. So we're first funding restaurants and getting them money, income, helping them retain staff, and then second, there's no cost to the customer. They can just ask for a meal for their family and get it. And it's just such a simple concept, and we just believe that if somebody's asking to be fed, that they need a meal, and we're going to do that. We launched here in Tacoma September 2nd of 2020. And I became aware of the program, I think in late July. I came on board in August, and then we launched in September. It was a really fast process. We had 5 restaurants at that time that we began with in 3 different zip codes. And I think the first week we served something like 63 meals. Second week we were serving right around 350 meals, a little less. And then we've just skyrocketed from there. And now we're averaging, well, we have 15 restaurant partners in several neighborhoods in Tacoma. We've got really good coverage, not that it couldn't be improved, but and we're serving around 4,000 meals every single week to families and individuals. So we're really proud of that.
That's awesome.
Perfect. I just wanted to share just a few stories from our customers because it's so heartwarming and makes me cry every time. I hear all the time from families and from people who are just so, I mean, they kind of feel like it's too good to be true on both the customer and restaurant end of things. And it's been a wonderful resource. The fact that our customers can use this every 3 days. So it can be a plan for sustainable source of nutrition in their lives of, they know that they can get fed and that they can use this and start to plan for that in between food bank visits, or if they know that the paycheck only lasts so long, they can get in and get meals. So we've had as you can see, these are just a small sampling of the feedback that we've gotten from folks who are using the service and really appreciating it. It's been overwhelming.
No, I just, for me, I love the accessibility piece of this. I love that it's open for everyone, but I really love the inclusiveness that you can go to a restaurant, no matter your situation, and go get a meal and feel as you're a guest there. You're not going to the back door to pick up a meal. It's just you go in, you have a great time. And honestly, I think that brings dignity. You get to walk in and walk back out, possibly in a restaurant that you may not have ever gotten a chance to go to. And now these opportunities are there. I love how you're building up the community, and highlighting restaurants that are in that community that allow for that person or those persons or the family that once past this situation, now you're going to go support someone that supported you. And again, you're rebuilding those communities and rebuilding the trust and just a natural way of doing it. So very excited. Those are just a few things that I just wanted to just take my hat off to you guys for, because it's great.
Well, I'm really glad that you brought that up, because that is exactly the intention behind it, is that, once folks are back on their feet and we hear it, our restaurants hear it, our customers want to give back. They understand that they have utilized this resource and they are looking for ways that they can also contribute. The other thing is, when people are back on their feet, they are going to be customers of those, then they become customers of those restaurants when things change for them. And so it does convert into a greater customer base for those participating restaurants. So yeah, I love that too. Looking towards what is next. So we're doing this. It's going well. How do we think about the future? These are questions we're asking as an organization. We want to grow. We want to expand. We want this to be a sustainable program and here in Tacoma, and we want to grow Help Kitchen through the US. And so on a local level here in Tacoma, we know when the pandemic is over, okay, fingers crossed that will be soon, but we know it's not going to magically solve our issues with lack and with hunger. And pre-pandemic, some of the numbers that I found through this one I got through Nourish Food Banks, that 38% of Tacoma residents are either under the poverty line or just over it, meaning, working poor, that they're working, but just not able, and not under the poverty line, but not able to make those ends meet. That's a huge number. That's a huge number. And that was pre-pandemic. We could imagine that that's possibly going to increase even after the everything shakes out after the pandemic. Hopefully not, but still it's significant. Because of that, we know we want to be a part of the solution. We want to continue to, continue this good work and continue to be a piece of this puzzle and to support the other good works that are happening. We've Help Kitchen started and still is primarily a volunteer-run, really grassroots operation. As an organization, we're looking to hire an executive director to grow, to create more vision and sustainability within the larger organization. But really, that spirit is there now and remains. That we're people helping people, but we want to be a long-term solution. We want to address the community's systemic needs, and so that means funding. And our primary desires and needs at this time are, first, get the word out. We want this resource to be disseminated, we spread far and wide, and to let folks in Tacoma know that this is available for anyone who needs it, as long as you need it. And so partnerships are so welcomed for outreach and getting this info out to folks. And then second, funding. If an organization has amounts funding earmarked for a cause, we are hoping to be considered. We have funding, and we have donors that will match funding up to $500,000. And so we're really looking to sustain our funding. Ideally, we'd like through 2023. We're looking through 2022. We would love it if we could know and be here as a resource through 2023. And so, so those are our needs and our goals moving forward and growing. It just, we're hoping to be a part of this, part of Tacoma, a part of our community, and a part of the food insecurity puzzle solution.
Perfect. So let's dive in a little and talk more about some of these details to help people understand. Can you dive through and talk about some of the partnerships that you have currently and maybe how those have worked out? And then maybe that'll give people an idea of like recommendations or referrals or somebody else that could potentially partner with you.
Absolutely. So, when we started out, we were primarily distributing through food banks. So Nourish has been a wonderful partner. My sister's pantry, Eloise Cooking Pot are some great ones that have been wonderful partners through this. And then community support. So Tacoma Rescue Mission and the Metropolitan Development Council, and also individual social workers, community centers, the Rainbow Center have been wonderful partners. And, this, as well as outreach workers who work with our houseless communities. So this is a wonderful resource for families and for people who are either in a transitional situation that maybe don't have a kitchen, and or are working two jobs and don't have time and space, or and have big families and are running to and fro. So we've been really fortunate to partner with these wonderful folks, and not to mention our restaurant partners are great about sharing this information too. And so we've had some wonderful support, and we can definitely use more.
Go ahead,
Jennifer. I love how you highlight it. You went from you have one job or maybe two jobs. I think when people, they get help confused with I'm not eligible, because maybe they have two jobs. Can you dial into that just a little bit to help, those that are watching understand that it's not the fact that you're struggling that you get to use Help's Kitchen. It's because you're trying to go somewhere else, or you're trying to better your life by working two jobs. And maybe you have 30 minutes to get your kids something to eat. The opportunity is here. Why not take advantage of it to take stress off of you personally as a parent, or, a mother, father, husband, whatever it is. This is what Help Kitchen is here for.
Right. Well, I mean, food insecurity comes in a lot of different forms, and that can mean I don't have a resource for cooking a hot meal for my family, or it can mean, I simply don't have the time, or I'm exhausted, and you get home at the end of the day. I mean, if you have kids, you know how it is, and you come home, you're tired, maybe you've been working a lot, and you have an hour or two to spend with your kids before it's time to get everybody to bed and start all over. That's valuable time. If and even if you're able to provide the basics, whether that's with supplementation from food bank or on your own, it doesn't mean that you can afford to have a takeout meal, and so that's a special thing. And I hear from families too, from parents that are like, oh, my kids think I'm a rock star because I brought home takeout meals for everybody, and it's a surprise, and it's just not something that they get to do. And that's, like you say, that's time. Time is a resource also. And we know when we're really trying and struggling to make those ends meet, time is in short supply. We're using a lot of it, and a lot of our energy to cover those basic needs. This is, you don't have to qualify for assistance to use Help Kitchen. It can be yet another resource for you if you don't have time or you are short on funds. So yeah, either one of those things, and all of the above. There was one other thing I was going to say about that, but now I lost it. Maybe I'll get it back. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
You mentioned that it's not immediate, right? So you text in, it's got to be 1 or 2 days in the future, and then I think in the slides it mentioned, so once you utilize that moment, when can you do it again?
You have to wait 3 days, and then you can text again.
Okay.
So a person could feasibly use the service around twice a week.
And how many meals per?
Tool. Yeah.
How?
A person can request up to 6 meals for their family. And it could be for their family. Other ways that you can use those 6 meals are if you care for elders in your community, if you do outreach for your neighbors who are houseless or who might not have a phone. It's rare, but especially if someone's in transition or experiencing houselessness, they might not have access to a phone. If you are doing any sort of community outreach, or you have a phone and you know a neighbor who doesn't, you can, I always recommend that folks, get together, share that resource, get the meals, share them with your friends and neighbors who need them. So yeah, there are workarounds. I don't, one of the drawbacks for me is, it is technology based, which is a wonderful advantage because of that dignity piece and giving you a little space from having to directly ask. It's so hard to do. And then, but it is an obstacle for folks who don't have a phone with texting or some such, which is it still can happen. And so to be able to get those meals and share them is something I always recommend.
And then I just listening and looking at the slides. I don't know if I missed it or not. Is there an age group? Is there a specific age you have to be? Is it 16 and up, or is it just you just have to have the ability to use the technology to order the meal and get to where you got to pick it up?
Yeah, technology and transportation. If you can text and you can get there, you can get a meal for sure. And I did remember the other aspect is that I was going to touch on before is that just, the qualification part. We know that when the pandemic began, so many people were waiting for assistance. So it wasn't even a matter of like, oh, we can't get assistance, but there was this gap, right, between people flooding the system who had never been on unemployment, never asked for help or for resources, and they don't know how to navigate the system. So there's this like gap between the ask and the receiving. Some people couldn't even log into the unemployment website for so long. And so, that was another intention, and it still is that we're trying to fill that gap between, okay, if you're waiting on your benefits, or you didn't receive it, or maybe you just barely don't qualify and you still need help, then we're here.
Absolutely. I think there's so many instances that this can be utilized that maybe isn't talked about enough, right? Like there's so many like situational things. Maybe somebody's changing jobs and they got to go through a training, or they're missing a paycheck because they start within the pay cycle or something and it's off. Or there's so many little things that I think that people can utilize this at least twice a week. It's just I love it. I love that part of it.
Unexpected bills. What if you
Right.
had a sick pet or a sick kid, or your car broke and you had to pay an extra paycheck for for that, and now this unplanned bill came up and now you're short this month. Maybe you can pay rent or pay your mortgage, or maybe your bills get paid, but really, where is that food budget coming from?
Yeah. I love that you're partnering with Tacoma Rescue Mission, because we know, there's a lot of situational houselessness, right? That it's unexpected. Hopefully they can get back on their feet pretty quick, but what a great resource. And I love that about this, just all those little pieces that we don't really talk about, especially within the task force. There's a lot of those types of situations that people can use this just to help them out.
Well, yeah, and then in regards to the rescue mission and housing, is that I found out that when folks are in transitional housing, they don't always have kitchens.
Mm,
So they could go to a food bank, they can get the basics and the elements, but they might not be able to cook a meal. So that's yes, you're getting fed, but to be able to have a hot meal improves your quality of life quite a bit, as I think we all agree. So
yeah.
this is
Yeah.
something that people can know that they've got that.
No, I definitely love this. This program, especially the fact that it's not giving a handout, it's giving a hand up.
Mm.
It's giving the dignity back. It's saying, hey, it doesn't matter the situation. I think a lot of times when you get help in the community, it's based on your situation. And most people don't want to tell their situation. But you guys don't have any barriers in this situation. It's come and eat. We want you to eat the best that we have on the menu that day. Come and get it. I think that this is a great resource for a lot of partners. I think that this is a great resource for the community, the school districts as a whole, especially with summertime coming up. A lot of kids are going to be out of school. We don't know what anything is looking like. So for teachers or any of them to be able to know that these resources are available, I know you were talking about the collaboration pieces, and you have a few great relationships going on currently. Is there anybody that's on your wish list? Anyone that's on your wish list to work with in this community?
Well, I did forget to mention that we also do share our resources through the Tacoma Public Schools. But yeah, I mean, I would love to reach hospitals, churches, more schools and daycare centers, anyone, any organization who is helping the community, even folks who provide temporary jobs for people. That's another resource that could be, we could definitely partner with. So yeah, I mean, I think it's such a wonderful tool that almost anyone who works with the community in any capacity can share and find a use for. I mean, it's for everyone.
Absolutely. Well, do you have any other questions, Tamar?
You know what? I don't. I'm excited to get out and tell people about this. I got a few people I'm gonna hang up and talk to when I get off with this. So, man, Jennifer, thank you so much for just what you do. We're just excited to be able to support you and as a task force to help you and just get the word out there.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely.
I'm so happy to. And I just want to mention to you on the slides, the last two are show how to reach out and contact and share the Help Kitchen number, the text number and the parameters around that, and then also how to donate. So yeah.
Perfect. And we are going to share this out on social media through our email blast through the task force, so everybody can get the slides and Jen's contact info. I mean, there you have it, right? That's Help Kitchen. We wanted to bring them on so that we can help them do their outreach efforts and partner with everybody in the task force and really help everybody in the community get a hot meal. So thank you so much. And I'll pass it over to Tamar.
And first and foremost, Jennifer, thank you so much for stopping by and spending time with us on the corner. We can't rebuild this community without you guys and the work that you guys are doing. So let's keep moving forward, keep supporting each other. Again, thank you for getting down with the task force. And anything you guys do every day, remember, you can't redo this community unless you remember the corners that keep them together. I look forward to talking to you guys again soon. Hey, we appreciate you guys.
Thank
See ya.